Sideline Pilates. Now, centering on your side is much harder. You can be rested down on a pillow completely on its own, or a bolster, have your arm tucked underneath, or rested up. As long as your spine is in neutral, because we're focusing on the lower level at the moment, this is fine. So it's personal preference. I prefer knees in line with hips just to take the pressure off your low back. Your feet can be forward under your knees or tucked under your buttocks, depending on how much challenge you want. Remember to center, laying on your side. Your belly button draws to your spine. Your lower ribs must lift off the floor. So you should be able to slide your hand under this space. There should be clear space, because if you think the spine is now straight, if you dip, it curves your spine. So just like if you're trying to sleep with low back pain, we suggest you put a pillow underneath here. We need to have that lift. If you're really struggling to maintain neutral, you can put a pillow under here for support, or just to have that proprioceptive feel, the awareness, so you're just gently taking the weight off the pillow. It's entirely up to you. You can roll up a hand towel. So exercise 1 is called Clam. I prefer, from a rehabilitative point of view, rather than your hips being stacked like in a true mat Pilates class you'll be taught, slightly lean forward. Reason being, if you're leaning forward, the balance is off and therefore your stabilizers have to engage. You're having to use those muscles before you even start, then you lift up. So we're keeping the focus muscles, or the prime target of our exercise, we're keeping it active. Ankles stay touching. You just lift one knee up as high as it will go without cheating, gently back down. So remember, this hip is not allowed to roll backwards. The whole point is that it stays still. Imagine if there was a spear in the floor. You're leaning against the spear, and that contact must not come off. I can go higher, but I'm cheating. I'm using my back and my glutes, so that's not what I want. I want your hip stabilized, your glute medius minimus, tensor fascia lata, and to a degree your IT band, to engage, to lift that knee up as high as you can go. Gently kiss down, but don't collapse. Okay? 15 to 30 repetitions, maintaining tummy, ribs, shoulders relaxed, neck nice and long ideally. We'll focus on the breathing in later videos, because I think you have enough to think about. Straight up, straight down. Progression. Side, straight leg left. Again, reset exactly the same. Tummy, tail, rib lift, spinal alignment. You lift your hip up as high as you can. The toes can be pointed or flexed, but make sure that you're not hitching your hip. Because if you're hitching your hip, you're using your low back, your quadratus lumborum, you're using your lats. We don't want that engaged. What we want to do is focus all in this hip. So I put my hand on my hip to make sure I'm not cheating. Lift up as high as I can. If you can, at the top, just a little centimetre squeeze. Gently kiss back down and straight back up again. You can see there's no movement of my hand, which means my hip is not moving. I keep my bottom leg bent for more balance, because the focus is the top leg. But if you want to make it harder, leg out straight in the front or tuck right underneath. It makes the balance more challenging. And as long as you can do this without losing that bite, progress as much as you like. Last exercise, 2 more. Lift up, find your bite point, drop down just a little. Then we kick all the way forward, keeping the height. It's not allowed to dip at the top. Bring it all the way back through and kiss down. Then you're going to progress. So you do 2 kicks. 1 through, no rounding of your spine, no dropping of your ribs. Keep that distance. You see the height is staying the same. Kick through, back down, and lower down. And then do 3, 4, 5, build it up to 15 to 30. Okay? Whether the toe is pointed or the toe is drawn up will make a difference between whether you're using the front or back or anterior posterior chain more, quads, hamstrings, etc. I like you to do both. So either on day 1, say Monday, you do toes pointed for everything. Then day 2, maybe Wednesday, next time you do this, do toes drawn for everything. Or alternate to do 1 rep toes pointed, 1 rep heel drawn up, or 5 and 5. Whatever works best for you, as long as you're doing both and an even amount, happy days. Last exercise for the moment, side leg circle. The leg hovers, small circles, right in and out of that bite point. So imagine you're like dipping in and out of a pool of water. So I'm out the bite point, it's just below it, kick into the bite point, back down again, no movement of the hips. Really small circles. It's not a nervous twitch. One variation you can do is to start small. Like imagine you're drawing a 1 penny piece, a 2 penny piece, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger smaller and smaller and smaller. Please make sure you circle in both directions. Please make sure you obviously roll over and do both legs. Your progressions is to use a band. Clam. Make sure it is a light band, a yellow, red, or maybe green, but no higher. Blues, silvers, blacks are going to be way too much if you're trying to hit stabilizers. They're great if you want to do muscle development, but that's not what we're about. We're about rehabilitation, so lower resistance, higher repetition and engagement. So up, squeeze and hold, gently lower. And when I've got a resistance band, I like to have a little second pause and release rather than bouncing, because it shows that you are strong enough to do the exercise properly. For the straight leg, I would always start bringing the leg forward and keeping the band here. Straight up, straight down. You can do it with both legs straight, but still around the knees. Or if you want to progress, band around the ankles. It means you have to hover, because now it's around the ankles, there's space, and I don't want the tension off, remember. Which is why I would start with the thighs first. So start band engagement, straight up. You can only come halfway down now, which is going to make it really nasty. One level I didn't show you without the band, which I'll show you now. If you've done the sitting video, we did the leg external rotation. I love that in this. Take a look. I draw my toes up for this, turn them up to the ceiling, turn them back in, even internal rotation if you want. So it's a scoop out, scoop back with no hip movement against resistance. So if I bring my feet forward just so you can see what they're doing, I come up and out and roll to neutral or roll all the way in. Personal preference, then depending on what injury we're working on. Have a play, let me know how you get on. When you've mastered this and the sitting video, your progression is going to be to have a look at the progressions through side lying plank. It can be quite aggravating to develop the plank levels. Really, really good for strength, but always do the static band work first and then build into the planks.